Miss Moreau again. So I will be going over page 3 of the math packet. So let's get started. So I'm going to add a little note up here. Oops. Let's get rid of that. About odd numbers, because this time it wants us to circle the odd quotient. So 1, 3, 5, 7. I wanted these to be commas. 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9 are odd. Let me just scooch this over a little bit. So it wants us to divide. So when we're dividing, we're thinking about how many times the smaller number will go into the bigger number. So this is why even when you're dividing, it's very important to know your multiples. So you need to be studying your multiples. So if I'm thinking about 2 into 14, I'm going to think about my multiples of 2. So I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and 14. So that means that 2 would go into the number 14 7 times. All right, if I'm thinking about my multiples of 3 here, I want to see how many times 3 goes into 18. I'm going to name my multiples of 3. So I have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. So 3 would go into 18 6 times. So 18 divided by 3 would equal 6. So this time we're talking about 16 divided by 4. So our multiples of 4. Let's count by 4s. 4, 8, 12, 16. So 4 goes into 16 4 times. 16 divided by 4 equals 4. Pen is giving me problems here. There we go. All right, next we're doing 25 divided by 5. So we're thinking about our multiples of 5. Let's count by 5s. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. 25 divided by 5 will be 5. Goes in 5 times. Then we have 24 divided by 6. We're counting by 6 this time. 6, 12, 18, 24. So 24 divided by 6 would be 4, meaning that 6 goes into 24 4 times. Oh my, not what I wanted to do. Okay, 10 divided by 10. So we are saying how many times does 10 go into 10? Well, we should know that. 10 goes into 10 one time. 21 divided by 7, we are thinking about our multiples of 7. See how many times 7 goes into 21. Let's count by 7s. 7, 14, 21. So 21 divided by 7 would equal 3. 18 divided by 9, we are thinking about our multiples of 9. So 9, 18, which would mean that 18 divided by 9 equals 2. And lastly, for this section, we have 60 divided by 10. So we're thinking of how many times would 10 go into 60. So I'm going to count by 10s, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. So 10 goes into 60 6 times. 60 divided by 10 would equal 6. Our next part here, it wants us to, oops, I don't know what happened there. Let's fix that. It wants us to circle the numbers that are odd, the quotients. So again, if it ends in a 1, 3, 5, 7, or 9, it is odd. So this is a 7, this is odd. Not what I wanted to do here. All right, this is a 6, this is not odd, this is even. A 4 is even. A 5 is odd. I'm going to circle that one. Okay. Then we have a 4, which is even. A 1, which as we see here is odd. I'm going to circle that. We have a 7 here, which is odd. I'm going to circle that one. Oops. A 2 is even and a 6 is even. So this is what we would have circled. 7, 5, 1, and 7 again here. All right. This part, it wants us to draw each time on the clocks below. Again, bear with me with this drawing tool here. So 7:05. So when we're talking about the clock, when we're talking about our minutes, we're counting by 5s. So up here at 12 would be our 0. It's hard to read this tiny with this little guy here. So this would be our 0, 0. I don't know making them into circles, but you get the idea here. Try this one more time. Oh my. Technology is tough. All right. So if we're writing 7:05, trying to rewrite this here, but it's not cooperating. So 7:05, we can kind of see it here. So let's start with our hour first. So our hour will be our smaller hand. So if it's 7, that means our smaller hand will be pointing to our 7. And if it's 05, again, when we're talking about minutes, we're counting by 5. So it'd be 0, 5. So that means our larger hand, which I will try my best to make this look larger, longer, will be pointing at our 1. Okay, next one is 3:15. So let's do our hour first. So our hour is 3, so our smaller hand will be pointing to our 3. And in this case, if we're counting by 5s, we have 5, 10, 15. So our larger hand would also be pointing to our 3, which is going to be really tricky for me to draw. So let's see here. So we would have our smaller hand and our larger hand pointing to our 3 in this case. 6:45, so our smaller hand, which is telling us our hour, will be at our 6. And 45, we're going to count by 5, starting at the 12. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. So our minute hand would be pointing to our 9 here. And 9:30, so our smaller hand will be pointing to our 9. And our larger hand, we're going to count by 5, starting at the 12. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So our larger hand will be pointing to our 6. I hope that you guys get the gist of that. I know it's kind of hard to see with these marks here. We have 2-word problems. Every day I go swimming at 10 o'clock. I am done swimming at 12:30. How long do I swim for? So it wants to know the difference from 10 o'clock to 12:30. So I'm going to first compare the hours. So from 10 to 12 would be 2 hours, because from 10 to 12 is 2, adding 2. And then our minutes, which would be here. Here we were at 0, 0, and here we're at 30. So it would be an extra 2 hours. I'm just going to put H, and 30. I'll put M for minutes. Okay. All right, and last one on this page. My sister has swim practice for 3 hours each day. She starts swimming at 9 a.m. What time does she get done swimming? So if she starts swimming at 9 a.m., we want to add 3 hours to that. So if we add 3 to 9, it would be 10, 11, 12. So it would be 12. Giving me a hard time making the dots here, but you get the gist. And actually, it would not be AM anymore, because once it hits 12 o'clock in the afternoon, it is considered PM. All right, everybody, thank you for bearing with me again through this writing. I'm hoping I will get better as we go here, so thank you for watching.